Have you ever encountered negative or toxic individuals? Have you ever wondered how to handle such situations? Encountering these people can be tough. It drains our energy and affects our mood, leaving us feeling disheartened and unmotivated. Moreover, if we don't know how to deal with them, they can hinder our personal growth and disrupt our inner peace, essential for emotional well-being. In short, they pull us into a cycle of negativity, potentially leading to anxiety and depression. But how do we remove negative influences from our lives? What if we don't want to distance ourselves from them because they're people we care about? What are the best ways to manage them, help them become more positive, and preserve our own well-being? Finding solutions might be simpler than you think. We'll explore this through a Zen story rich in Buddhist wisdom and practical advice. Before we proceed, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to stay updated on the release of valuable new content. In a serene monastery tucked away in a remote corner of Japan, the venerable and wise Buddhist monk Kosami shared invaluable teachings with his followers on managing or removing negative individuals from one's life. Dealing with negative people is simpler than you might think. Kosami began in a composed tone. Each of us has encountered individuals who exude negativity. Some do so unintentionally, driven by their nature, while others deliberately create obstacles out of envy or frustration. The disciples nodded, recalling the various types of negative individuals they had encountered. Some thought of friends and family members whose pessimism or ignorance emitted negative vibes, despite their lack of malicious intent. Others remembered colleagues or acquaintances who, fueled by envy or personal agendas, sought to undermine them at every turn. Observing the disciples' engagement with the topic, Kosami continued, "Picture every relationship as a delicate balance of power, a subtle interplay of give and take. Often, this process goes unnoticed in healthy relationships with people we feel comfortable around. However, when this balance is disrupted and problems arise, we must safeguard our peace of mind." Master Kosami inquired the disciple, "What happens when this balance is disturbed, as you mentioned?" Smiling, the monk replied, "In such cases, people may begin to disrespect us, attempt to manipulate us, and fail to acknowledge our position and individuality. Now, dear disciples, pay close attention to the 10 strategies I'm about to unveil. They will empower you to navigate challenges with toxic individuals. The first step," Kosami continued, "is to establish clear boundaries. Remember, in dealing with negative relationships, defining boundaries is crucial. You must determine your personal space and boundaries and insist on their respect. Failure to establish emotional distance and set limits on others' behavior can jeopardize your desires, beliefs, and projects. For instance, consider a friend who consistently disregards your needs, overly focusing on their own. Clearly outline your boundaries and openly communicate how their behavior negatively impacts you." As the disciples absorbed these pearls of wisdom, Kosami proceeded to the second lesson, maintaining inner equilibrium. To prevent others' negative attitudes from affecting you, he continued, cultivate a steady internal balance. For instance, when a colleague makes disparaging remarks or criticizes your work, instead of reacting impulsively, remain composed and handle the situation without allowing their words to unsettle you. Keep in mind, the power someone holds over you is only as much as you permit. It's all within your control. If you wish to diminish the significance of relationships detrimental to you, remember that the influence negative individuals wield over your life is contingent upon your consent, not theirs. And what are your experiences? Do you believe negative individuals should be cast aside like refuse, or do you advocate for efforts to uplift them and coexist more harmoniously? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's engage in discussion. Another crucial skill to master, the monk continued, is expressing your needs without fear. Consider a situation where an acquaintance consistently criticizes your decisions. Instead of silently enduring it, assert your needs clearly. Express how their criticisms affect you and convey your desire for a more constructive dialogue. It's essential to vocalize when something bothers you and assert your boundaries straightforwardly. Define who you are and what you want without getting entangled in others' negativity. Kosami emphasized another lesson to his disciples, refraining from being drawn into others' negativity. When confronted with individuals dwelling on life's darker aspects, be prepared to shift their focus, the monk emphasized. For instance, if a friend persists in complaining, steer the conversation toward positive subjects. Demonstrate through words and actions that positivity can thrive even in challenging circumstances. By doing so, you can help them break free from the negative energy they've immersed themselves in, while safeguarding yourself from absorbing their negativity. As the disciples jotted down notes, contemplating how to navigate relationships with individuals who brought turmoil and negativity into their lives, the master proceeded with the fifth lesson, incorporating positive influences into interactions with negative individuals. Moving on with strategies for dealing with negativity in our lives, the monk emphasized is the importance of taking criticism objectively when faced with harsh feedback. Strive to detach yourself emotionally. If someone critiques you insensitively, try to discern if there's any validity to their words. If you find merit in their critique despite their unkind delivery, it showcases your maturity in turning criticism into opportunities for growth. You'll leave them speechless. If you're finding value in this video, we encourage you to like and share it. These small actions help us create more meaningful content daily for your spiritual development. Now, let's continue. Another tactic to counteract negativity is to introduce positive topics, the monk continued. In environments steeped in negativity, steer conversations towards more uplifting subjects. If someone consistently dwells on problems, introduce discussions related to shared interests or positive achievements. By doing so, you'll interrupt the negative cycle, emphasizing that there's always space for positivity. Another crucial aspect when dealing with negative individuals is being mindful of the time we spend with them, Kosami advised. Carefully consider how much time you allocate to those who disrupt your inner peace and life. Reflect on how these interactions impact your mood and energy. If you notice adverse effects on your emotional well-being, minimize the time spent with them. Demonstrate to yourself and to them that the quality of our time together is paramount. If a friend emits negative vibes, gently inform them that you prefer not to spend extended periods with them. This action might prompt them to reflect on their behavior, prompting change in their interactions with you. In this scenario, both parties benefit. Identifying areas for positive change is another valuable strategy when encountering individuals trapped in negativity, the master emphasized. Guide them towards positivity. Picture a friend immersed in pessimism. Extend genuine support and help them recognize the bright side of situations. And if despite all these efforts, Kosami posed rhetorically, when attempts to mend relationships prove futile, contemplate whether it's time to create distance from that individual. Remember, your primary rule should be to safeguard yourself and your inner peace. We discovered that when confronted with others' negativity, we retain control over our responses, turning challenges into avenues for personal development. Throughout life, the skill to navigate negative influences becomes a valuable tool for nurturing meaningful connections and upholding our tranquility.